track, getting hit multiple times. Coming out of that bike section, more drivers coming to blows.
Greetings, race fans, and welcome back to Sim Racers Group Formula 4 Racing on SMB. JR Gregory back with you on the call with a huge shout out to Charles Bochelle for covering me last week, along with my partner, Kennen Miller, our producer, Marty Czekala, and the rest of the slow motion broadcasting fam. And it is great to be back behind the mic for week 10 of 2025 season 3, which takes us to the American Nordschleife VIR located in Southern Virginia. The iconic Virginia International Raceway opened in 1957, reopening in 2000 after a 26-year hiatus. And since the reopening, the sports car racer's dream has played host to IMSA, GT World Challenge, Trans Am, SCCA runoffs, along with a busy calendar of private and club track days. Today's configuration, 3.3 miles, 5.3 clicks, 17 corners, and our current record of a 136.112 was set in 2012 by Lucas Luhr in an Acura LMP1 car, and that record may be safe forever. We'll see how it goes. But Kennen, last week our F4 Warriors faced the twists, turns, and elevation changes over at Barber in the Alabama Hills, and that seems like pretty good prep for VIR.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really nice back-to-back run going from Barber right into VIR, where it's two all-natural tracks with a lot of elevation, a lot of really twisting turns, and there's certainly very well-known racetracks that everybody wants to go see with their own eyes. And yeah, VIR, it's my hometown. I got to sleep in my own bed last night. It's kind of a nice feeling before doing this broadcast.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those that don't know, Kennen spends time out on track as a safety marshal and has done so for many years. So Kennen has been up close to some of the action that we're going to be seeing out here tonight. And I had a chance to throw down some laps out here earlier in this F4 car, Kennen, and it is a monster out here. I had such a blast. And a couple things that kind of stand out, and we'll go ahead and ride along with Josh Leslie right now. We're going up the S's right now. Iconic part. We're going to hit 6th gear on our way up the hill, and this F4 car, just a little lift right there, almost going flat right there through a corner that strikes fear into anybody who drives a GT car. But these cars handle it beautifully. We just passed the site of the old oak tree. It's still called Oak Tree Corner, and heading up the back straightaway. Kennen, I think this is one of the tougher spots right here, getting the braking right here. Actually, there's a couple places on this track where if you overcook the entry and wash out, it'll cost you a half second at least guaranteed. This is one of them right here. Car lightens up over the crest. You got to back off the brake pressure or the brake pressure, depending on where you're from. And critical right here too to get a good exit. That power is on right there, coming through the roller coaster and hog pen and down the front straightaway. And we'll stay with Leslie just a little bit longer, and we'll ride along with him. The beginning of this lap, another trouble spot I found, Kennen, was overcooking this entry. If you wash out right here, very easy to do. You will lose a massive chunk of time. You see Leslie keeping it nice and tidy right here. And again, I'm a GT3 guy, and this section here, very challenging in those cars. The F4 cars eat it up. Barely lift right there in 4th gear. Use all of that exit curb that was added to this new scan of iRacing. Drop it down into the 3rd, and the hammer is down right here. You're floored running it all the way up to 6th gear up the S's from that spot forward. And man, a lap around cheater in these F4 cars is an absolute riot.
Yeah, it really is. It's a total roller coaster ride, start to finish, not just from 14 to 17, but the Formula 4 cars, they really have a nice advantage with the wing, as much as it seems like we talk about how little aerodynamics they have. For a sports car track like this, it really allows them to fly around and really turn off quick lap times. It's a lot of different elevation changes. The track is certainly worn in, and you kind of see with a lot of the entries, like we talked about, the biggest ones being into turn 1, as well as the end of the backstretch Leslie is headed towards now. They've got dips to them, and it's very easy to lock up the brake. The car wants to compress so hard, and it's a real fine line of managing just how hard you can push it in. And you see them brake all the time at the 1 marker, the 2 marker, and somehow it's just a real fine balance of getting it to stick before you have to head down the roller coaster.
Yeah, that back stretch, very challenging. As I said, you can kind of brake extra heavy going up the first part of the hill, but then you get to release pressure as you crest. But yeah, Marty, go ahead and pop those up. We'll take a look at our actually we may not. Yes, we will. Okay. Marty is playing me like Pinocchio right now, but there are your championship standings after 9 weeks of competition. Josh Leslie up top. I wouldn't say it's a death grip, but it is getting down to crunch time. And if any of these challengers like Conway, Meyer, Duvall want to make something happen, they got to make something happen here tonight at VIR. So Leslie from Conway, from Meyer, from Duvall, from Van Wagner, and a pretty big spread among that top 5. Then you see Guyton, Navis, Swanback, Glasser, and Vase rounding out your top 10, followed by Chia, Hyde, Huynh, Hagen, Clark, Samudio, Nathan, and Jason Trantham there at the bottom of the list. Some of those drivers at the bottom not participating the whole season. But Conway, Kennen, I think, still has a chance. He has a glimmer. But as I say, he needs to make something big happen starting tonight and the remaining 3 races of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. He really has to solidify himself as the next race winner throughout the season. I think I don't know how much of a case Stephen Case is going to have, and I don't actually see him in the room yet with the time. So, I just absolutely blanked on that. But if they keep pushing, I don't know. He's kind of run away with it. I don't think there's really going to be too much of a gap. Even if he has a couple fifth place finishes, there just won't be enough time with only a couple weeks, 3 weeks left in the season. One thing with those stats is it does have the dropouts already included into it. So it's pretty much a pretty clear picture of where we're at.
Yeah, drops are included, as Kennen pointed out. And so that gap of 30 or 40 points behind Leslie is going to be pretty tough. You're going to be able to get bites out of it, but they are going to be small bites. And by the way, I was in a practice session on the public servers earlier driving this car track combination, and looking at those practice times, Leslie almost broke that 150 barrier, and I saw one person do that in the practice session I was in this afternoon, and that person was a 3.9K rated driver. So Leslie is for real in these cars, knows how to drive them. And if you remember the practice stats that we showed you a minute ago, Leslie has a full second on the driver who came in P2 in practice. So Leslie looking unbeatable here at VIR.
Yeah, it's kind of been that way all season, really. A lot of times practice, Joshua Leslie is just over the top, and it's not very close. He's really proven to be the best of the field, and he's just kind of dominating the whole season right now. It's really quite incredible to watch, and this track tests everything. You do see David Hirsch up there, Adam Duvall kind of in the top of the leaderboard, so you are seeing some different drivers kind of be able to find success here that you don't always see at the top of the leaderboard, but Joshua Leslie is still by far and away the best out there today.
Yeah, and VIR a bit of a specialist track. It is definitely a handful and takes a lot of laps to get the nuances down. And again, I'll just go ahead and beat that dead horse further. As a GT3 driver like myself, one of the big adjustments that you have to make getting in this car is the trust. It is incredible what these cars are capable of in terms of grip. Places that are very nerve-wracking in a sports car are no problem for these things at all. However, I will say that this final combo that we are about to ride through here with Naves and that entry onto the front straight, Kennen, I think, could kind of abuse these tires. So tire wear could be a thing in this one. We're on the throttle right here, powering through, very easy to ride, kind of a long, painful oversteer right there onto that pit straight. And if you aren't careful with your front tires, I think we're going to have some tires giving out by the end of this one.
Yeah, the tires are certainly a factor at VIR all the time. The Formula cars will have a little bit of an advantage because the aerodynamics will make it a little easier, but so many of the corners, if you want to do them quick, you have to slide through them. You see drivers all the time, no matter what car you're in, going through turn 16, like we're about to see them go through here. They'll jump over the left-hand curb a lot. It's a lot of abusive curves, and what you're trying to do is balance that fine line of having to actually make the car turn or just try and straight line it and see how much you can get. You also see that in between 5 and 6, where we're going through the snake, getting ready to go under the bridge. That really, if you hit the line just right, you don't feel like you're really having to turn the car too much. But if you get just a little offline, you're a little too far to the right, you can find you're putting a lot of wheel input in, and it just doesn't really help.
Yeah, and a really good point about the curbs. That is something I noticed out there this afternoon as well. Usually these F4 cars aren't crazy about banging over the curbs, but here at VIR, curbs definitely on the menu. So our drivers at the pointy end of the field are going to be all over them, which kind of adds another layer of danger and risk to getting a fast lap down here. And lap time's starting to come in. Nothing to write home about yet, because if you've driven VIR before, you know that the start finish is in the middle of the pit lane. So when you roll away from the pits, it actually counts as your first time lap. So we're going to see those laps falling off precipitously here shortly as we take a look at Adam Duvall making his way around. I see a purple sector out of him, which ought to move him up. And again, we're looking for the pointy end of the field be right around 150 flat. Although I will say the track a little toasty, 93 degrees currently. I'm not sure what time it is in sim, but certainly possible that those track temperatures are going to increase as the day wears on here.
Yeah, it certainly is. Thankfully, it's a no rain in the forecast kind of day. Rain at VIR certainly always creates a lot of unpredictability. The corners are just fast and difficult. It's so easy to lose the rear end. So, in a lot of ways, it is a nice day. It is a little windy, 11 miles an hour wind. So, they've got a little bit of a challenge. I was looking over at the second monitor just now and noticed Josh Leslie. It seems like we talk about it a lot in qualifying. He's really trying to push to get everything out of it. Got a little loose out of turn 12, managed to hold on, but certainly not going to have a worthy time here, I don't believe, as we see him coming across the front stretch now. So it's going to be hot, slick. The wind really does affect the cars here. There's lots of different gusts, and especially with the elevation changes, it does affect the cars a lot more than flat tracks.
Yeah, and a couple of long straightaways here, which is definitely going to lead to some contested entries, aka dives there into turn one, and also contested entries into that tough right-hander at the end of the back straight. So we are definitely going to see some action. It could get messy. We could see some cars off in the grass. Even on the best of days, incidents tend to pile up a little bit around this track. So we'll see how that all unfolds. And little slow getting times coming in so far. Right now, 5 minutes burn in qualifying, 10 remaining. And looks like Duvall currently sitting on top of the 152.4, followed by Trantham, Guyton, Quinn, and Hyde sitting there in P5. Again, those times are going to fall off, but little greasy out here, it appears, and maybe some people that we would expect at the front of that list picking up some offs, as Kennen said. So we're not seeing the super quick qualifying times as of yet, but we should be seeing those. And another thing, Kennen, we sometimes talk about tires, and again, I was out here earlier, as I said, and it really did make a difference to come in and get some fresh rubber toward the end of the 15-minute qualifier, and we'll see if anybody elects to do that. And there's Duvall, turns in another fast lap. That will put him up, took a second or so off of his previous best, so that'll put him in provisional pole with 9 minutes remaining, and notably still no time for our season leader, Josh Leslie.
Yeah, he's really kind of struggled sometimes early in the sessions, but he does always seem to get a pretty good time there. Going, as we see, he's going into turn one right now, so we'll follow along with him, see if he can keep it in between the white lines around this very difficult 3.67 mile circuit. So Adam Duvall putting the top of the board right now. That's kind of a little interesting, and Ryan Chia put down a nice time too. We have not seen, oh no, Jacob Guyton did come in sixth. I think we'll see a little better than that from him before the end of the session as well. He did run about 6-7 tenths quicker in practice. So it's a very challenging course. I mean, you have to put down a clean lap not only, and one thing we really haven't talked about is the importance of the draft. It does require a little bit of timing, but to actually kind of go up these S's and get around the oak tree corner to the backstretch with someone in tow or you behind as their tow will make a big difference in the lap time you can get at this track, certainly there in the front stretch.
Yeah, can add a chunk of time, and there's a cloud of smoke and a pile of body panels there at Oak Tree, and that's a corner you want to keep cross the apex with as much speed as possible in second and get that hammer down with good timing. But if you get it down too early, you're going to loop it, as you saw somebody do right there. And my goodness, still waiting for Leslie to put down a time. He's out there, folks, putting down laps, but has not got a clean one yet. And we have crossed the halfway point of this qualifying session. So as it is right now, it's Duvall up top from Novice, from Chia, from Trantham, from Dan Clark. So our usual suspects at the pointy end of the field, still not able to put down a time lap. And here we're looking at Leslie right now. See if he gets one here. He's about to cross start finish, and there we go. Leslie vaults to the top of the list for the 151.3. I am expecting some 150s though before this one is over, and I know that Leslie is going to want to do better before this 15-minute session concludes.
Yeah, certainly. And I think now the next one we're looking at David Hirsch that we're just now looking at coming across. We'll see what kind of time he puts in. Second place in practice. He did have some really good speed. Just nearly breaking into the 150s. I don't think a 157 is his best time. So we'll see him. Wow, he goes up to third place. So that's a really nice lap for him. He's really going to find himself at the front of the grid. That'll be a nice change.
Yeah, and Hirsch, not a familiar name to me. You can tell me if he showed up at Barber or if this is his first appearance here in F4, Kennen.
I do believe this may be his first appearance. I do not think he was the newcomer last week. I know we've had Nemo Alcazar come and join this wonderful Sim Racers group, Formula 4 League. We've got, 10 people in this group of 20, 15 drivers that are all in San Jose right now, all in the same room, which is scary.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's a member of that group or whether he's at home, but I believe this is his first race.
Yeah, well, so welcome to David Hirsch, and great facility down there in San Jose. I'm actually going to be heading down there for an in-house enduro here in a few weeks. Looking forward to seeing that place in person. Leslie takes Duval takes a bite out of his time, getting back ahead of Josh Leslie. So it is Duval from Leslie, from Hirsch, from Navis, from Chia, and still kind of waiting for somebody to uncork one here. We should be at least deep into the 150s right now, and these drivers struggling to I guess maybe they're fighting the hot track, greasy track, and having a hard time keeping the car on the track. But 5 minutes left here, and a couple drivers heading into the pits. You see Hirsch and Chia heading in for fresh rubber, and we'll see if that benefits them. Hirsch looking pretty good, really, in my view, to move up. As Kennen pointed out, he was almost down to a 150 flat in practice, so he's about 2 seconds off of his practice pace as he goes in to get fresh rubber, and he'll have the benefit when he comes out of new tires and a lightened fuel load. See what he can do with that. And here's Leslie making his way up the snake, and we've seen Leslie might be having some bad luck with traffic. It's a pretty big track, only 14 cars on the grid, but we've seen him potentially held up by a couple cars here, and that may be part of why Leslie is not able to get up to his usual pace.
Yeah, we've definitely seen him run into traffic a couple of times. That's one of the challenges we do talk about of the open qualifying that the Sim Racers group does do with this Formula 4 League. It's you've got to really find your space and find a balance. Like I said, you mentioned the draft. If you get stuck with somebody going up the S's headed towards the South Bend turn 10, there's nowhere for the car in front to really just easily let you by. No matter which way they go, it's going to affect the way you're able to drive and perform on the lap, and it costs you certainly seconds on the lap charts here. And we'll see, maybe Leslie, it looked like he had a pretty good lap there. I haven't been able to see. I guess he's still been slower on the board, but he may be able to best Duval here at the line.
Yeah, Leslie showing yellow sectors across the board, except for one purple on the final sector. He turned up the wick in that last sector, and that was enough to best Adam Duval by 0.8. So Leslie taking a huge bite out of his previous lap and looking good in pole. He had about a second gap behind him in practice. He has almost a second gap behind him now here in qualifying, with time to go and with clear track ahead. Ooh, little squirrely there. It's fun to hang these F4 cars sideways, Kennen, but that does not do very, very much for your lap times.
No, not when you slide it out that much. There is a fine line between having a slip angle and you're really just hanging on to keep the car going straight, and thankfully he didn't spin out there. So he may have had a clean enough time, but I don't think it's going to best the time he already has on the board.
Yeah, he may have one more opportunity around. These laps are fairly long, but if you've been with us before, you know that if you can get across that start-finish line before the qualifying timer hits 15:00, you get to complete your final lap. So qualifying here probably going to stretch into the 16, 17 second range. So Leslie is going to have another crack at it. You see Duval's most recent lap does not help him, about 0.4 off of his prior fast one. And now a bunch of people in the pits. I can't imagine that they're taking tires, so folks must be satisfied with their times and parking it at this point. But Leslie, Duval, and Navas still out there, with Leslie enjoying about an 0.8 lead on P2.
Yeah, and this track's really going to test a lot of drivers that, depending on how much you take for the line, it can really upset the car so easily here, and it creates mistakes. There's walls all around this track, surprisingly, and as weird as it is to say, it seems like the grass is so far away between the wall and the track, but you just cannot stop on this grass for whatever reason. It is like ice, even if it's purely dry. So the drivers really will have their hands full today. It's gonna be a very good matter of the incident count and who can do the best at keeping the incidents low between off tracks and finding a good comfort zone and what kind of time they're going to run, how they're going to manage the full 20-minute race.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can definitely reduce your lap times by flogging the car all the way around the track. But as we've talked about before, that is not sustainable over a 20-minute race. The tires will not tolerate driving at 10 or 11 tenths for the entire 20 minutes. So budgeting, tire wear, being kind to the equipment is going to be part of success here as well. And yeah, just where you saw the 13 car there, that exit onto the pit straight, Kennen talking about the grass. I have been way out there. Grass a little grippier now, but in the old days, you get one wheel off there and you're all the way out to the Armco, which is about a half mile away from the edge of the track. So definitely been there. And taking a look at Hagen now, and he's trying to improve his lot in life. He's going to need a second to get past Guyton and get up into P11 as he crosses start finish, see if he is able to achieve that. Hagen might have had some traffic problems, takes a small bite, about 2 tenths off of his qualifying position, but not good enough to move up as things are solidifying pretty much right here. Navas now has another crack at it. And he says, no, I'm not even going to drive down there. Or no, he did make it past start finish, but no help for Navas. So that looks like our qualifying is pretty much set. We're going to have those grid up for you here momentarily, and we will get this one underway. And Kennen, you have spent a lot of time out here. I know that you've worked some flags and done some other marshaling out here. What is your favorite flag stand to work at, and tell us why you like viewing the track from that spot?
There's certainly several. I think turn 14 is a very good one. You really see the cars lock up the brakes a lot going into that corner, albeit you don't get so much of a view of a racetrack, but those cars are really at the highest speed that they'll reach entering the corner, and it's quite uncontrollable, and somehow they seem to just make it go back to the right and head on down the roller coaster more times than they don't. But when they don't, it gets pretty brutal. But even on the other side of the track, I mean, turn one's a really good one. This track, it's kind of of course I'm going to gloat about it and whatnot, but I think every corner on this track is really a good corner. It's you've got some different ways to do it. A lot of people don't like the smaller courses and all, but even the Patriot course, or what they call the Grand course, it's got all sorts of twists and turns to it. It's really outside of the backstretch. Once you're starting a lap at VIR, you're having to worry about a corner or something. You don't really get much time off. You get the backstretch out of Oak Tree Turn. That's all you have to assess what you're going to do going into really the next lap from there.
Yeah, it really is a fantastic track. And folks, I stumbled across on YouTube the other day, there's an old black and white video of the organizers who brought the track back to life after it was closed, driving around the track kind of in disrepair and talking about races that they had seen. The track brought back to life by a bunch of gearheads, and you get to ride along with them as they are making their plans to reopen. It's fantastic. Search for it after the race. You won't be sorry. But anyway, here is our starting grid. It is Leslie lining up next to Adam Duvall in row 1. Then Jose Navas will line up next to newcomer David Hirsch in row 2. Then it's Chia. That is his best qualifying of the season by far, I'm pretty sure, next to Trantham. Then Ken Estep will line up next to Ken Glasser. All Kens there on row 4 for you Barbie fans. Then it's Rudy Samudio next to Dan Clark in row 5. Guyton will line up next to Tyler Hagen in row 6. Then it's Michael Huynh next to Embriette Hyde, and Nemo Alcazar finds himself bringing up the rear in P15. So we'll wait for the timer to kick down here. Taking a look, there is Navas, there is Leslie in that 55, and I believe, yeah, there we go. That is him there to the far left of your screen. So he will have the inside run down here into turn one. Turn one can be pretty persnickety, Kennen, and I'm sure if you've worked down there, I'm sure you've seen a few cars go off there in a cloud of smoke and a blaze of glory. So these guys and gals' first job here, get these cars off the line clean, get them woed up, avoid contact in turn one, and get this lap off to a good start. Really easy to lose this one in turn one.
Yeah, it's really inevitable. We'll see contact going into turn one. It happens all the time. Anxious drivers, cold tires, fast cars. Everybody's kind of pushing it a little more than they can. We'll see some cars getting really locking up the brakes on the inside. They're going to beat and bang a little bit there. But generally, by the time we get out to 4 and 5 under the bridge, they'll start singling out.
All right, so our lights are up. We are going to get this one underway from Virginia International Raceway. And here we go. They are green, and Duvall got a pretty nice little start there. Hopefully didn't jump it. We'll find out here in a second. But it's Leslie from Duvall. Actually, Novice is going to try to stick it in the inside. We got some action around the outside there, too. That is Duvall taking a look at Leslie, taking a long way around turn one, 3 wide there. Oh, my goodness. That's Novice, Chia, and Duvall following Leslie, starting to thin out a little bit. But, man, oh, man, these drivers rolling the dice there early in a very, very difficult turn one. And despite Kennen's prediction, no contact so far. Pretty clean start. Got a little bit of dirt flying there heading into the S's, but pretty good job so far by these drivers in these F4s.
Yeah, I think we actually missed it all the way in the back of the pack the way the camera showed, but Nemo Alcazar and Michael Wynn are actually just not getting through turns 4 and 5. They had a pretty good contact going into turn 1, so we'll have to go back and investigate and see what happened there. But outside of that, a lot of the front is looking pretty clean. Everybody's doing good, and there we go. We have Ken Estep is around going through turn 10. He's off in the grass. He had a really nice save overall to not lose it off into those walls, so he'll get continue, but quite a significant loss of positions there.
Yeah, and Estep, one of our newcomers. Welcome, Ken, to the world of Formula 4. Those tires are cold, and they're not going to give you the kind of grip that you need for about 2 laps. And Estep finding out there. And here we are riding along with Chia, qualified P5, has already moved up into P4. So Chia looking to turn in his best result of the season so far. And Chia fans know I don't mean to jinx him, but Ryan found himself in the pointy end of the field, and now he's got to deal with the pressure. And he's looking up at Duvall right now. He's got about a 3/10 gap up to Duvall. The slipstream is definitely a thing in these F4 cars, so she is going to get a nice tow here and be faced with a decision on the entry to turn 1. That's Duvall there in the Lucky 13 NASA car, and for this time around, Chia is going to take a breath here and get in line and go through that corner nose to tail. Probably discretion being the better part of valor here. I wouldn't want to try anything crazy, Kennen, while these tires are still in the process of getting heated in.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. They're certainly very cold. It's a lot of sliding going on. We see just how hard it's been to keep it on the grass for some drivers so far just in the initial lap. So you don't want to find yourself in a bad spot. Jason Trantham certainly taking advantage of the little duel we have between Adam Duvall and Ryan Chia, but you got to play it safe. There's certain areas at this racetrack where when you're fully up to speed the way they are, you just really have to concede that you're going to follow in line for a moment. There's not every corner is always the best passing situation. It will get you in more trouble than anything that it's worth. So this is a great corner to set up into 11, 12. You get yourself real wide. Leaves a little bit of room that he could have taken out there before the entry, but you get a lot of speed. He's certainly going to have a nice tow with 2 cars in front of him.
Oh, and there's Glasser is over-rotating out of Oak Tree. We saw that in practice, and I told you, got to be very patient with the throttle there. And Glasser goes around. Estep will get back by him. And meanwhile, look out, here comes Hyde. Our hard charger right now has moved up into the top 10 by virtue of just keeping it clean. We've had her in the booth up here before, and that is her specialty. Ice water in her veins. She's steady. She's consistent. She keeps it clean, keeps out of trouble, and that is going to put her into the top 10. And we'll take a look at the start here. We told you that there was a kerfuffle up front, and whoa, there it is. and not really sure what happened there. May need to see that again. Looked like the 26 car of Alcazar may have moved over there on the pit straight. Very unusual to have a problem at that point on the track. And we're going to look now at the victim, who I'm not 100% sure who this is. And bam, Finding Nemo right in your side pod. And that, I know that joke's going to get old, but there we go. And that put both of those cars about 12 seconds back at the end of the pack. And another replay here. And here's Hagen with a little bit of a lockup. Oh, man, something about that turn 4, that NASCAR bend. It doesn't look slipperier than any other corner on the track, Kennen, but for some reason, it is very slippery right there. And I bet working the track, you see a lot of lockups and see a lot of offs right there.
Yeah, you certainly do. It's a notorious corner. It's a left-handed corner, and it's very flat. It looks like it's flat, but it's really off camber. It's going away from you, so you're trying to make the car go left. The pavement wants to send you to the right, and a lot of times you just get that one little wiggle in the steering wheel, and there's nothing you can do but really try and follow it off and pray you don't come into contact with the tire wall.
Ooh, and Trantham entering the roller coaster there, tries Chia on the inside and gets it done. And some good fighting going on up front. That is a battle for P3 there, led by Adam Duvall in the 13. That's Duvall from Trantham, from Chia. Trantham just moving up, and that will put Trantham up 2 from his qualifying position. So Trantham putting a pretty good one together so far. Taking a look back at Glasser now, and something else must have happened in the back of the field there, because I'm now showing Embriette Hyde sitting in P8. So Hyde up 6 positions, the hard charger. And again, we talked to her about it in an interview. She keeps it frosty, keeps it consistent, and cashes in race after race. Now sitting, as I said, up 6 positions. So that's +6 for her. So good drive so far by Hyde. Hopefully she can hang on for the next 13 minutes or so. She may be headed to one of her best finishes of the season. You see her there in the 93 car. Now looking ahead, got about a 2-second gap up to Guyton and a pretty good gap behind. So if she just manages the gap from here on out, she'll have a nice top 10 finish and have that hard charger locked up. And speaking of gaps, my goodness, look at Josh Leslie up front. Kennen has dropped that train of Navas, Duvall, Trantham, and now Chia, a 4-car train for P2, has dropped them by 5 seconds. Leslie absolutely driving away, and at this early juncture has already done a 150.2, while your P2 driver, Navas, almost 2 seconds off of that pace. So Leslie absolutely dominant out here.
Yeah, you can see Leslie. I think in some ways he's getting to have the advantage of all the open track in front of him. We see this really great battle that we have going on for second. That's a beautiful camera shot, and they're all kind of strung together. Sometimes if you don't work together to utilize the draft and kind of play nice with giving and taking positions, you find that a 4-car train can really lose itself to one fast driver. And we kind of saw it between practice and qualifying. Joshua Leslie certainly has this racetrack figured out. He is the class of the field. He has been all season so far, and he's just walking away with it. We do know, as always, I won't bring it up too much, but, it's just a matter of mistakes. We've seen Leslie make mistakes on the last lap, and 5 seconds with one spin will certainly be recovered quite quickly. So he just has to manage his car. He's got the fastest car out there. He just manages it, takes care of it, and I think he'll find himself the checkered flag.
Yeah, Navas got his work cut out for him, currently sitting in P2, but leading that train of Duvall, Trantham, and Chia. All 3 of those cars covered by under 2 seconds. And Navas has got to be driving in his rearview mirror to some extent, but he needs to keep it frosty, keep his eyes forward, and keep hitting his marks. About 11 and a half minutes remaining. Another train forming as well. Looks like Embriette Hyde now has Glasser and Estep up with her with very tight gaps. So there we could be a battle there for P8, trying to knock Hyde off of her high horse after she's moved up impressively thus far. But here comes, there we go. There is Hyde from Glasser from Estep. That is for P8. And, that's something else that we've seen Hyde do pretty well this season is driving under pressure. It can be quite adrenalizing to have somebody polishing your bumper like that, but she has not been prone to mistakes under these circumstances. Get in a situation like this, it's really easy to get adrenaline out and make errors, but Hyde has been pretty tough under pressure so far this season. And here is Hyde looking back at the front of Glasser's car there. Estep along for the ride there too. So Hyde got her work cut out for her with about 11 minutes remaining.
Yeah, and Briette Hyde, she's really proven to be really strong as a defensive driver. I think she just does such a good job. She knows her marks. She knows what she has under her and the power of the car, and she sticks to the gun. She doesn't get over hesitant. She doesn't say, hey, I'm normally at the 2 marker. I'm going to go for the 1 marker and catch herself locking up. And she's finding really good results with it. She's really finding herself between 6th and 8th place, throughout the field almost regularly at this point. So you see how consistency really adds up, and you don't have to overdrive the car to certainly be fast in a race.
Yeah, and they'll hop on with Duvall right now, looking forward at Jose Navas, about a 2/10 gap. And going through that NASCAR section, that section leading up toward the S's, both of those drivers leaving quite a bit of the track on the table there. And that's one thing that's letting Leslie drive away here. Not a lot of pace in those kind of sloppy lines we're seeing out there. Navas fast lap, a 152 flat, more or less. Last time around at 152.1. So Leslie getting some help right now, and Navas potentially the cork in the bottle. And it looks like Gia might have a crack at Trantham here, may want to return the favor. And Chia is going to look to the inside, coming up the hill into the roller coaster. And is that Navas falling off pace a little bit right there? Very tough braking session right there. Oh, my goodness. And there goes, who is that? Trantham. Trantham overcooking that entry. I talked about that. You got to release brake pressure coming over that rise at the end of the straightaway. And Trantham getting a lock up there, and that will drop him down into P5.
Yeah, we really should be thankful that he didn't lose more time than that. It's so easy to get run off. He managed to get the car slowed down even with the brakes locked up before he really got too much in the grass. So nice recovery by Trantham. He's 8/10 now behind Ryan Chia. He should be able to get a tow. If he can put together a nice section all the way up to Oak Tree now, I think he'll have a chance to kind of stay with this group. And we do have 2 really good groups. Ken Glasser did get by Briette Hyde. But that's still a nice little 3-car pack. And then we've got quite a race going on for 2nd place right now. It's going to come down to, I think, the final lap to see who can really get into turn 14 and take the lead of that group for 2nd.
Yeah, and here's Estep was looking the inside of Hyde, squeezing him up against the grass there on that pit straight. She's not laying down for this one, and Glasser, or Estep rather, Estep, I should say, gonna have to work for that. But there is that train for P8. It's Glasser from Hyde from Estep, and there goes Hyde. Oh my goodness. Or no, I'm sorry, we're back up front. That was Duvall in that NASA car. And again, Duvall should send the iRacing coders a Christmas card after that. They added grip to the grass. As we said, that would have been, he would still be sliding, Kennen, if we were on the old grass model. Incredible that he was able to reel that in and is still in that group, which is right now Chia from Duvall from Trantham, and all of those cars covered by about 1 second. Navas Navas kind of sneaking away up front, has got his gap behind to Chia about 1 second.
Yeah, that was quite a ride there in turn 10 that you don't always come away from, but sometimes you're better to just stay in the gas and try and power through it. As long as you can keep the wheels straight and catch back on the pavement, you'd be surprised. And just like that, you see Adam Duvall is going to maybe get a position on Ryan Chia, who went wide out of 17. So this is going to be quite a bit more trading of back in places. We're coming just under 7 minutes to go in the race. So there's about, 4 more laps I'd predict maybe, depending on where Joshua Leslie at when he comes down with about a minute to go. And It's going to be a lot of different trading between the slides. The tires are now hot for sure. The track was already hot, and there is a little bit of wind that's going to put an effect on the cars. This race certainly is by no means settled.
Oh my goodness. And we talked about tires going off, folks. It is happening right before your very eyes. Chia is in a losing war with that F4 car. You see him all over the place. You see him go wide onto that entry onto the pit straight. And Trantham has got to be loving what he's seeing right now. Is he going to try to stick it in? Oh my goodness. When you're done looking up that historic VIR footage, go ahead and look up Bill Oberlin. Made a pass right there in a GT3 BMW. It was a thing of beauty. The driver in front of him thought there's no way it could ever happen. And Oberlin, a longtime BMW factory driver, made it happen. But in any event, I digress. Chia still has Trantham all over him. Chia hopefully getting a little bit of a breather here, letting those tires recover from being abused. But Trantham going to have another crack here, heading off that back straight. These two have traded positions here a couple times during this one due to the slipstream. Trantham looking. He's going to peek down the inside, and Chia kind of lets him have it. Little lock up there, though, by Trantham. Really tough here. Probably want to be dialing that brake balance back just a little bit at this point of the race. As you see Trantham drag a front wheel going over the crest, and Trantham this time, it's his turn to go wide. And Kennen, these tires are screaming for mercy.
Yeah, I think that was actually Chia that might have gone wide there, but Trantham's kind of pulled himself away. They do, unfortunately, with that little bit of a battle, he's lost a good gap between Adam Duvall, but Adam Duvall still hanging tight with Jose Navas, who's kind of pulling away a little bit here, running into maybe some lap traffic, I believe. Oh, no, there they are, side by side going into 3. So that is still a pretty good battle to settle out the second place finish. So the time is really winding down fast in this race.
Yeah, Navas had kind of gotten away there. He had stretched that gap up to about a second with all the fighting behind him. But Duvall is the survivor with all that battling we saw over P3. And now he is in position in that Lucky 13 car to challenge Navas with time winding down. Actually, he's got plenty of time. He's got about 5 minutes. And now it is Navas driving in his rearview mirror when he may have thought he was going to get away with that group behind. And Duvall has dropped Trantham. Chia now has fallen all the way down to P6 as his tires have checked out for the night. So the action right now between Navas and Duvall, also Glasser and Estep have a little fight going. We'll get a little bit of that to you before this one is over as well. And there is that. And trying to sort out the cars here. Can't quite make out that car number. I think we're looking at Glasser.
That's Estep and Glasser battling for 8th.
Yeah, that's Glasser up front in the blue and yellow car. E-Step behind, and E-Step on a recovery drive right now that's actually good. Oh, my goodness. And Glasser, camera shy, is in the weeds again, and he's going to owe the groundskeeper some money when this one is over. We have seen Glasser collecting quite a bit of sod over this one, and let's go back to Navas and Duvall, and that is Duvall is going to try Navas on the outside of turn 1. It is doable, but can end in tears. Let's see how this one works out. Navas is going to have to beat him to the second apex here. Duvall will have the shorter inside line, staying side by side, and Duvall survives that encounter, but they're still all over each other. Only 2/10 gap. Navas takes a peek there. Oh my goodness, that would have been something. Look at Navas sliding all over the place. Kennen, these tires are done, and this is some fantastic action down the stretch.
Yeah, it is. It's brilliant racing. I mean, they're sliding all over. Navas has just got to keep his head calm. There's not really much you can do till you get to Oak Tree. Make sure you don't cost yourself any more time getting up these S's. Get through turn 10 nice and smoothly. We know we see cars run wide there often into the grass, so you just don't want to do anything to cost yourself more. I mean, you see it all the time. It takes one mistake, and it's going to really hurt right now with just 2 minutes left in the race.
And don't look now, here comes Trantham, who was back in no man's land for a big chunk of this race. And if things go wrong in front of him between Duvall and Novice, he could have P2 fall into his lap. So Trantham loving what he is seeing in front of him right now, currently running in P4. That's up 2 from his qualifying position. And he is cheering on Novice right now. He says, come on, Jose, stuff it in there, cause some contact and put me up into P2. So about a minute and a half left. Leslie may take the white flag this time around. We'll keep an eye on the starter stand as we go by. It looks like Chia has just pushed back past David Hirsch, trying to salvage what he had going. That'll put him up into P5. And yeah, there's Barney. He's waving that white. So we are under white flag conditions right now. Final lap. And look at this little train up front. It is tightened up. Trantham has put himself in position to potentially make something happen. That is Duvall from Novice from Trantham. And white flag is out. So if you got something, smoke him if you got him. And it looks like Ryan Chia has Hirsch with him as well. That position potentially being contested. Will stay up here, though, in this fight for 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, Trantham just had an absolutely amazing turn 1, 2, 3, and 4. Almost took down half a second on the 2 cars in front of him. He's not going to quite get the opportunity, but he's really set himself up for a position. He's close enough. He could make a dive into turn 14 and go for the 2 for 1. It's certainly doable to clear 1 car on the backstretch and get the other. And we see Novice goes wide. That's going to be a great opportunity for Trantham. He gets past him. He's going to have about 3-4 tenths there. Couple car lengths, and they run right in there. You see the traffic getting in the way of Adam Duvall and Trantham right in the second place. It's going to be difficult. And there we see Joshua Leslie heading down the roller coaster to try and take on this checker flag.
And Trantham, it's Christmas in August for Trantham. Who could have seen that coming? I'm not going to name names, but his initials are JR. And here comes Leslie. Absolutely dominated this one. Turned in a fast lap of 150.2, a full second quicker than anybody else is going to finish with a gaudy 15-second interval behind. And we talk, folks, about his competitors needing to make something happen here at VIR. It didn't happen, and here's Duvall. Duvall getting past Novice for the final step on the podium in the last corner. And what a move through the roller coaster and hog pen by Duvall, and that is good for P3. Oh, my goodness. I knew VIR was going to be good, Kennen, and it has exceeded my expectations. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, that was just an absolutely incredible run there. Those, not just the final lap, but the laps before leading up to that, it really made the drivers have to push it for everything they had. They knew that any of them could have won that race for second, and just absolutely incredible. It's what VIR produces all the time. It's great racing. It's a beautiful racetrack. It's probably the best racetrack in the world, but just absolutely everything we expected, quite honestly. I mean, even all the way up to the Joshua Leslie barn burner of a show house as he's doing some donuts. I think we're seeing some smoke over there in turn 3 from. So he's we expected him to dominate, and we still got great racing all in the one good race.
Yeah, VIR definitely one of the crown jewels of American and really world motorsports. And these drivers really put on a fantastic show. We anticipated potentially tire wear, making things difficult down the stretch. It definitely happened. And Ken and I would say it separated the wheat from the chaff. You saw these drivers fighting these ragged out tires, and some of them could handle it, make moves, keep pushing, and some of them couldn't, and it really made the difference down the stretch. And you got to wonder about Trantham. Was he biding his time, taking care of his tires, and saving it for the end? Because as you said, he put down a hell of a lap there down the stretch to put himself in position to contest the podium, and he definitely had the traction when he needed it and made something happen there at the end. That was phenomenal. Drive of the day by Trantham. But anyway, excuse me, there are your results. It is Leslie by a Virginia country mile over Trantham. Duvall in P3. That's Jose Navas. Newcomer David Hirsch with a pretty good showing in P5. Then it is Ryan Chia, definitely a gamer, but ran out of tires down the stretch, followed by Guyton in 7. Ken Estep Let's see how he did. Looks like he dropped 1 position, so he was way in the back. Pretty good recovery drive to push back into the top 10. Embriette Hyde will finish in P9. She is the hard charger, up 5 from her qualifying position by keeping it clean. Then it's going to be Tyler Hagan in 10th, Ken Glassert in 11th, Michael Huynh in 12, followed by Samudio Clark and Nemo Alcazar, the lone car, not finishing on the lead lap. And my goodness, what a fantastic show we had from the Sim Racers Group drivers today. And let's take a quick peek here. And we are expecting some drivers to show up for interviews. I'm not seeing anybody yet, but my goodness, Kennen, your thoughts about this fantastic battle at VIR?
Yeah, it brings out the best of everybody. I think we see so often when you see the cars going off into the grass, it's really just a result of how hard they're having to push the cars, whether that's on braking, waiting to the last second to turn in, the track's elevation, the bumps, the curves. You know, it's actually a fairly newly repaved track, and even iRacing has updated it to that and all. And it still seems to present a lot of problems for drivers and such a challenge just to tackle the course start to finish. It's just always one of the great tracks for anybody to go see. It's going to always create great racing, and the drivers, they certainly love a challenge like this.
Yeah, man. Oh, man. What a fantastic show. And let's go ahead and get some of these interviews underway. It looks like we have got Tyler Hagan waiting to speak to us. And Tyler, it is a 100-degree track, high humidity. It must be August in Virginia. So things looked a little bit greasy out there. How was it from your seat?
Oh, it was definitely greasy. I unfortunately was doing a bunch of IT-related work today at SRG, so I didn't get a whole lot of chances to throw down some practice laps. And VIR is definitely not a track that you want to go into cold, especially when it's 100 and something degrees, and yeah, you might die. So fun race though. I'm glad I didn't get I got up to Embriette at one point and got really close to walking in the back of her wing, and just glad I could throw myself off the track to save her.
Yeah, well, decent drive. You moved up 2 positions and ended up in the top 10. So good stuff, even though you were busy keeping the grease in the wheels and keeping everything running smoothly there at Sim Racers Group. So congratulations on that. And as we wrap up, is there anyone you would like to thank or give a shout out to today?
Absolutely. I want to give a shout out first off to my wife, who encourages me to do this crazy sim racing thing, so I don't drive her crazy. And I'd like to thank Jason for having creating this brainchild that has become this amazingly tight-knit community. And finally, I'd like to thank Club Wheelhouse, which is a car storage and club event space up in Corte Madera. They gave us some insanely amazing hospitality at the reunion this past weekend at Laguna Seca.
Fantastic. Well, Tyler, thank you so much for stopping by and chatting with us. Thanks for everything you do to keep the everything running smoothly over at SRG, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right. So I'll tell you what. Let's just go. I will tell you right now, folks. We have got a clown car developing in the interview room, and we're not going to be able to accommodate everybody who has showed up to talk to us, but we've got to talk to the king of F4, Josh Leslie. Absolutely dominant, kind of an embarrassing 15-second gap that you finished. Josh, what was your biggest challenge out there today? We're not ever really getting any pressure from behind.
My biggest challenge is probably just not going off track, or spinning out. I think my main points were the last corner and the first corner, which I tried to minimize as much as I could.
Yeah, all right. Well, definitely a very good drive. And let me take a look at my schedule. Oh, yeah, Interlagos next week. Pretty difficult track and could be pretty tough on these tires. So have you had any chance to put any laps down at Interlagos, and do you have any thoughts about that?
No, I haven't put any laps on Interlagos, but I know the track, from watching like F1 and stuff. But what I'm kind of confused about is that like this season is like an American season, like American Caesar, the American series, and like I don't know why Interlagos is not there, but I guess it's fine. It's a cool track.
Yeah, it should be exciting, definitely very challenging. So, all right, well, cool. Josh, thank you so much for stopping by. Congratulations on a dominant drive. And as we wrap up, is there anyone you'd like to thank or give a shout out to today?
I'd like to thank the same people for helping me, Jason, my parents, and anyone like watching on the broadcasting that's supporting me. Yeah, that's where I'd like to leave it today.
All right, cool. Well, it looks like you've got this, not to jinx you, it looks like you've got this almost in the bag. So congratulations, and we look forward to seeing what you can do next week.
Yep, thank you.
All right. And Kennen, I am going to bring in, we'd be remiss if we didn't bring in our hard charger, Embriette Hyde, and you can chat with her for a few minutes as we wind it down here.
Yeah, Embriette Hyde, the hard charger, gained 6 positions, I believe, coming up with a fantastic 9th place finish. How do you feel after tackling 20 minutes at the Virginia International Raceway?
It went a lot better than I thought. I was really struggling in practice and the quality just to focus. Had a lot of oversteer, and I just thought it was going to be a disaster, but it turned out pretty well. So I'll take it.
Yeah, and it seems like we certainly note week after week you're one of the cleanest drivers on the course. You don't risk the car into the off tracks and all, and you find yourself getting better and better results by using that strategy. How do you feel like your preparation going into these races really makes an effect on where you finish?
It does make a difference. I've noticed that for me, I really need to practice first with the line on if it's a track that I'm not too familiar with, and then take the line off and do about an hour of practice before the actual official practice to even have hope of doing anything semi-good. So that's what I've been trying to do the last few weeks, and it looks like it's working. So I'm really pleased with that.
Yeah, it's absolutely shown, and we noted on the broadcast almost every week anymore that, keep using the tools you have within the simulator and all, and even outside of it with the help of everybody in the Sim Racers group. I know they're helping you get better and better, and we're seeing the results here faster and faster every week. So before we wrap it up here on the broadcast, anybody you'd like to thank tonight for this performance?
Yeah, I'll just give a shout out to the two Kens, Ken Glasser and Ken Step. This is the second week in a row that we've had some super close racing. And for me especially, it's really fun. The first couple of seasons I did in F4, I was usually just kind of off on my own in this bubble with really, really fast cars way ahead of me, and then maybe one or two slower cars behind. And it was fun, but it's a lot more fun when you get to race and be in close quarters, lap after lap after lap. So these last 2 races have probably been my most fun. So thanks to Ken and Ken. I hope they don't improve too much and leave me in the dust, because I want to keep racing with them.
Absolutely, and it was a really nice finish. We look forward to seeing how you do next week when we go to Interlagos.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, that was your hard charger, Embriette Hyde, and man, what a fantastic race. I want you to go ahead and subscribe to Slow Motion Broadcasting. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that notification icon so that you don't miss any of the action. And we are not just about these fantastic open wheelers, although tomorrow night we will stay with Sim Racers Group for week 10 of F3 competition at Suzuka. Then Saturday, Weekend Warriors Formula V will visit Okayama. Then Ron's Race Nights will see the iRacing official top split action with Legends cars at Lime Rock. What could possibly go wrong? Then on Sunday, a Weekend Warriors double feature. Spec Racer Fords will throw down at Road America, and Formula Fords will battle at Sonoma. 1 week from today, we'll be back here with F4s at the classic F1 course at Interlagos. So I am JR Gregory. On behalf of myself, my partner Kennen Miller, our producer Marty Czekala, and everyone here at Slow Motion Broadcasting, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your night wherever you are, and look at the bright side. At least it ain't Monday.